Hey guys, this is Reece, aka Pixels, one half of Pixels and Plough. Today, we're talking about injecting some jazz into your playing. The first thing I'd like to talk about is probably one of the easiest things to do to get a bit more jazz in your playing, and it's taking whatever standard chord progressions you may already have and just adding the sevenths or some of the other extensions onto those chords. So we'll take a basic example just in A minor. The chords I'm going to be using are A minor, D minor, C, and G. Pretty standard chords. Now, the first thing we could do here is just alter those open chords that we're using. So for instance, the A minor, I think minor chords sound really cool with the ninth in them. So let's try that. A minor, add 9, like this. Get that nice semitone in there between the B and the C. Okay, not overly jazzy, but it's a step in the right direction. For the D minor, I think this is a good candidate to just go for our stock standard 7th. So we'll change that to a D minor 7. Okay, easy enough. C, we could also just use the 7th there, in this case the major 7th. And then for G, if we kept going with our sort of idea, we could just play G7. That would totally work, but I think another option here that would just sound that little bit more jazzy if we added the 13th. Yeah, G13, that's a bit more jazzy. So let's hear that all together. Very pretty.
Gay!
Can be quite a few options open to us if we move the chords into some bar chord territory, stuff like that. Okay, so one particular voicing I like for A minor 7 is just everything on the 5th fret, but leaving out the 5th string, although you could play that because that's the A anyway, and leaving out the E. So I'm actually going to be just plucking the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings like this. Okay, very nice simple voicing of a minor 7 chord, A minor 7. Next thing I think we could try is for the D chord. Instead of keeping it in a minor flavor, we could change it up a little bit, borrow from the Dorian scale and turn it into a D9 chord. Okay, so this voicing again is mostly going to be on the 5th fret, reaching back to the 4th fret for our F sharp on the 4th string. So this is the voicing. We've got D, F sharp, C, E. Very common but very lovely voicing. C major 7. We could just play like that. And if we wanted to stick with our G13 from before, this is a lovely voicing of it. If you're not familiar with playing 13th chords like that, this particular one, the G13, it's the 3rd fret of the 6th string, 3rd fret of the 4th string, 4th fret of the 3rd string, and 5th fret of the 2nd string. Lovely voicing. And another side effect of picking these particular voicings is that we always had that E on top, which is quite nice, helps it to sound a bit more unified. So let's hear it all together. And you can jazz it up a little bit more by doing some arpeggiating and some bass notes moving around as well. I'll play you an example like that. That was just a little fancy at the end there. Something else you can do to get a bit more jazzy is when you're writing melodies, set yourself some target tones, some notes that you know you're going to play in the melody and that accentuate certain extensions of the chords that you're playing over. We're going to take the example from before that I showed you with the chords. We're going to write a melody over the top of it. I've already predetermined some of these target tones that we're going to use. Let's have a listen to what we've got to start with. Okay, so that's already sounding pretty jazzy, and if you have a listen to what we had in there, we had over the A minor 7, we started with a D, so that's giving us an 11th already, making it a bit more colourful. Then in the next chord, we got even a bit more adventurous. With the D9, we put a G sharp over the chord, which is not totally out of nowhere. It would still fit in the harmonic minor scale of A minor, but in this particular chord, it's functioning as the sharp 11. So it's got a particular flavour over the D9 that we've already got. Next up, with the C major 7, we've got a B on top. So we're not adding anything to this particular chord this time, we're just accentuating the major 7th. We don't always have to go all out. Then lastly, in the G13, we have an A on top. So we're going to be getting a bit of the 9th in there. Next up, we're going to fill that in, get some notes moving in between all of those notes that we've set for ourselves already, and then give it all a bit more context, make it sound a bit more like a full-fledged melody. Okay, so that sounds like a more fleshed out musical idea now, right? We still have all of those target tones that we were using before, but they've been joined up. Don't underestimate the power of articulations, because you could have the world's greatest melody, such as the lick. But if you just played note after note without any bends or anything like that, it could potentially sound pretty boring and stale, right? Here's what that would sound like. Pretty lackluster, right? But here's an example now with some articulations in there. Much more interesting to listen to. Thanks for watching, guys.